Hi guys, Nomis here, and welcome to episode 5 of this Cities Skylines series, where I'll be building the city of Nomishavn. Last time I built a large and wide pedestrian area, almost like a pedestrian boulevard kind of, inspired by a place in Bergen, Norway. It was great fun and I think it turned out pretty well. But I did mention it wasn't really 100% done, and would probably be revisited later on. Before I get into the main build of today's video, I want to do something about the open space in that area. It did feel a bit empty, and the thought was always that this area is open for public events. So let's do something about that. I will be making a concert event by putting down a concert stage assets from the workshop and some crowd generator to draw on the audience around there. I will also add some trees along the pedestrian streets in the planters that already had some small flowers in them. Something I also started on last time was adding a few outdoor seatings, but I want to move them away from the front of the cafes and restaurants and make some bigger areas in the middle for outdoor seating in the squares that aren't occupied by the concert. It was getting like a bit crowded just putting it right in front in the middle of the street where people are walking. This is something that I've seen done during summer in the real life inspiration, and I think it will do wonders to improve the area. Okay, so for the main build today I will be taking another look at Bergen, Norway for inspiration, and this place is called Byparken, which is basically just the city park translated to English, and I believe it's like the oldest park in the city. And you can see it's got this really shape to it. Like in the middle here we have like this pavilion, which is like the music pavilion it's called, and it's got this cool shape with flowers, and I believe it's like fences around. And then over here we have, you can see it here, but it's like a modern sculpture, and then we have a statue of Edvard Grieg, so I'll be finding like a nice old looking statue to emulate that, and then around this just hedges with bushes and trees inside them, and then just some pathways going all around, nice open green space and flowers, benches all around. So see what I can do with that. And then over here we have like a museum. I think I will try to mimic that orientation there, and then I'll build a few other buildings around that. So let's just get to it. First I'm just trying to measure out the distances that I want for the whole area before I start doing the build, and I'm building it adjacent to the pedestrian boulevard that I've done last time. So when I did the testing, I've kind of figured out the scale of it and trying to get kind of like a similar shape to the real place, and just see how it all fits together. This time I'm actually going to try to get it a lot closer to the real place, and of course it's not looking identical, but I think it's a lot closer than the area that I built last time. Of course I wanted that to be a lot bigger, but now I'm trying to go for more realism, and I think this is probably the favorite of all the parks that I've built before, and I think just trying to copy a real life place, just looking at Google Earth is a really cool way to just kind of experience or challenge your creativity within the game, and kind of see how far you can push it. And then I'm just trying to kind of plan out the paths and how I'm gonna get everything together. I'm using a lot of mods like IMT and Move It. I think I've used probably the mirror object more than I ever did in this build to kind of line everything up together, because this is really like manicured park. It's not like random and kind of wild like the ones I did before. So I think the unity between like the flowers, hedges and all of that is really important. So the mods really come in clutch there. So we'll just see how it looks at the end, but I'm really pleased with the result. And then again, like I've done earlier, I'm just putting down some crown generators just to attract tourists and citizens to kind of go look at these assets, because it's just props, so people won't visit them unless I kind of force them to. So once the park is pretty much done, I'm going over and placing down a museum and kind of working on the area around it. Here you can see me place like an underground parking garage, and I'm just placing some offices above it. I'm not bothering to kind of decorate the actual parking lot, I just want to make it functioning, and then I can decorate up just the entrance, because that's what I will be looking at. I won't be having like any first person views in the actual garage. And on the other part of the park, I'm actually placing down the very first start of the university. I'm just placing down the administration building for now, and just adding like university fountain and adding a statue as well. And then later on I will detail it up with some decals, planters, all that kind of nice stuff that we done other places. And then here I'm just going over the park and just adding some street lights where it's kind of lacking, because I've just had the gravel roads. Now, and then we'll go over to just detail up the area around the offices. I'm also gonna just pop over to the park for a bit and just add some just small little finishing touches before I also add a few bits of just residential and the last remaining empty areas, that's kind of some awkward spaces. I'll also be adding in some dormitories by just taking some residential buildings and just converting them into PO and putting in some block service cubes inside them to make it function. I'll be expanding the university more later on, just adding small faculties around the city and probably taking some inspiration from other universities in the real world, just looking at Google Earth and images and things like that. unless like a month to just expand with some residential behind the university, as I mentioned earlier, with just some Parisian architecture here, just fits in really well with surrounding areas. And I'll also add in some Baroque residentials as well, and just kind of try to fit them to the rows around. And as well, I'm gonna later on build out more of the bike network just for future proofing, and then I'll continue and finish detailing all of the areas that I've built out today. So that's it for today's video. I really enjoyed making this build and I hope you enjoyed watching it if you made it this far. Likes, comments and subscribes is really greatly appreciated. And I think next time I will be building out the first faculty for university, and then I'll see what other uses can be around that. So yeah, that's it for today, and I hope you enjoy your day. Hope you see you next time as well. Bye bye.